Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to today's presentation. We will be exploring an intriguing topic, an analysis of a 16th century warning about beauty's deceptive and harmful nature. The title of our focus is The Frailty and Hurtfulness of Beauty, written by Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey. I'll also be sharing insights from Assistant Professor Mushtaq Abdulhalim Mohammed Fattah. Over the next few minutes, we'll delve into the historical perspective on beauty's dangers, its misleading allure, and what lessons we can learn from this centuries-old warning. So, let's get started. Let's take a closer look at Henry Howard, the Earl of Surrey. He was a key figure in the Tudor court and a true pioneer in poetry. His influence on the development of the English sonnet was significant, shaping a form that would later be famously used by Shakespeare. Despite his creative achievements, Surrey's life was quite tragic. He only lived for about 30 years, but his life ended in execution for treason, which reflects the tumultuous times he lived in. His poetic legacy is especially important because his innovations helped define English poetry. When we think about poets and their poems, Surrey's work stands out as a major stepping stone toward the rich poetic tradition that followed. So, his story is not just about his poetry, but also about how he navigated the complexities of his era. Let's take a closer look at Surrey's structure in the English sonnet. It's really a masterclass in form, using a strict pattern to deliver a powerful, cumulative argument against beauty. The poem is built around 3 quatrains followed by a couplet, which is typical for an English sonnet. The rhyme scheme is A-B-A-B for each quatrain, and then it concludes with a C-C couplet. What's fascinating is the rhyme chain that runs through the poem: season, reason, peason, geason, treason, poison. This chain not only creates a musical echo, but also emphasizes the interconnectedness of the ideas. The interlocking rhyme scheme really reinforces the hypnotic warning the poem conveys. Overall, the structure and sound work together to make the poem's message more memorable and impactful. The strict pattern and rhythmic echoes serve to draw us in and deepen the emotional effect of Surrey's critique. Let's talk about sound devices and how poets use them to enhance their themes. First, alliteration and assonance create repeated sounds that give a hypnotic, almost slippery quality to the language. This mirrors how beauty itself can feel elusive or hard to grasp. Next, we see the idea of brittle beauty, which emphasizes how fragile beauty can be. Poets often play with words like flooring, fail or false, fruit, frost to evoke the fleeting nature of beauty and perfection. These patterns remind us that beauty is often transient and delicate. Then there's the use of rhythm and caesura. Midline pauses, those breaks in the middle of a line, interrupt the flow of what might otherwise be smooth iambic pentameter. This technique suggests the speaker's cautious, perhaps even anxious attitude. For example, lines like flooring today, tomorrow apt to fail, or tickle treasure, abhorred of reason, show how these pauses create a disjointed rhythm, emphasizing the unreliability or instability of beauty itself. Overall, these sound devices work together to deepen the theme that beauty is elusive, fragile, and often unpredictable. They make us feel that beauty, much like the language itself, is slippery and hard to hold on to. As we look at this slide, the key idea here is that beauty's brief season reminds us of the impermanence of outer appearances. Think of beauty like a flower that blooms beautifully today, but withers away tomorrow. It's fleeting, and because of that, it's an unreliable foundation for making judgments about people or ourselves. Surrey encourages us to focus less on surface appearances and more on cultivating lasting inner qualities. These inner qualities, like kindness, integrity, and resilience, are what truly endure over time. This ties into our overall theme that true value comes from within, not from transient external looks. So, while beauty may dazzle us momentarily, it's the inner character that provides genuine and lasting worth. When we talk about beauty as a deceiver, we're exploring how it often appears as something valuable, like a treasure, that draws us in. But as the poem warns, this allure can be dangerous because beauty is not always what it seems. It's portrayed as an active agent that can tempt reason itself to betray its judgment. Think of beauty as a promise or a sparkling jewel, something that initially seems delightful and worth pursuing. Yet, underneath that shiny surface, there's a darker reality. The poem describes this as false and untrue, like an infecting poison that can lead us astray. The key point here is that surface allure can mask moral peril. It encourages us to be suspicious of anything that only looks attractive on the outside. This theme fits into the overall idea that true value isn't just skin deep. What's truly important lies beneath the surface, and appearances can deceive us into danger. When we look at this slide, what really stands out is the idea that youth can often be seen as an enemy to themselves when it comes to beauty. Young people, because they lack life experience, are especially vulnerable to being deceived by superficial appearances. They might place too much importance on looks, which can lead them astray. The quote, "enemy to youth, that most may I bewail," expresses a deep personal regret. It's like the speaker is lamenting how beauty can become a harmful enemy, especially for young people. This isn't just about vanity, it's a warning. The poem, and this line in particular, serve as advice, kind of a gentle counsel. It reminds us that youth should develop discernment, the ability to see beyond surface appearances. Instead of tying their self-worth to looks, young people should focus on virtues, qualities like kindness, integrity, and wisdom. This message fits into the bigger picture of our presentation because it highlights the importance of inner qualities over external ones. It's about protecting youth from the pitfalls of superficial beauty and guiding them towards a more meaningful sense of self. Let's take a closer look at these powerful metaphors from nature, the flower and the fruit. On this slide, we see how both serve as vivid symbols of impermanence. The first message, flowering today, failing tomorrow, illustrates how something beautiful and vibrant can quickly fade. It makes the abstract idea of transience more concrete and relatable. When we cling to appearances or superficial beauty, we often end up disappointed because nothing lasts forever. Then there's the fruit metaphor, ripe today, shaken tomorrow. This image captures the peak of perfection, yet also hints at its sudden fragility. It shows us how promise and potential can be lost in an instant. Beauty and success are often fleeting. These images emphasize that everything in life is temporary, and understanding this helps us accept change more gracefully. They connect directly to our overall theme. Recognizing the transient nature of life encourages us to focus on deeper, more lasting values rather than superficial appearances. Let's explore the paradox of pursuit that these two images illustrate. First, we have the slippery eel. The phrase slipper and sliding, as is an eel's tail, captures how elusive beauty can be. It's something that seems almost within reach, but always just out of grasp. This makes the pursuit feel frustrating and honestly a bit unpleasant. It's exhausting because no matter how much effort we put in, the beauty we seek remains elusive, leaving us feeling that the chase is fruitless. Now moving on to the jewel of jeopardy. The line "jewel of jeopardy that peril doth assail" suggests that pursuing something valuable often comes with danger. It promises great worth, like a shiny jewel, yet, in reality, it can lead us into harm or risk. The pursuit here isn't just pointless, it can be self-destructive, making us question whether the reward is worth the danger involved. Connecting these ideas to our overall theme, both examples highlight a common truth. Sometimes, what we chase after appears beautiful but is inherently elusive or dangerous. Recognizing this paradox helps us reflect on what truly matters and whether our pursuits align with our deeper goals. Let's explore the idea of the bittersweet poison. This paradox, bittersweet, captures a fascinating duality, how attraction and harm can coexist. It suggests that what draws us in can also be dangerous. Now, when we think of the metaphor of infecting poison, it takes this concept a step further, portraying beauty not just as appealing, but as potentially deadly. The phrase, bittersweet, infecting as the poison, really encapsulates this unsettling image. It challenges the usual praise of beauty, warning us that external charm might mask something more sinister. In essence, it's a reminder that beauty can intoxicate and corrupt from within, spreading ruin like a hidden toxin. This idea ties into our overall theme, how appearances can be deceiving, and how allure can carry underlying risks. Let's explore how the poem gives beauty a voice through personification and apostrophe. When we say beauty is given intent and agency, we're saying it's not just a passive object, but something that actively influences us. It entices to treason, meaning it can lead us astray, tempting us away from truth or virtue. It's described as an enemy to youth, which highlights how beauty can be fleeting and potentially destructive if we cling to it too tightly. Calling it false and untrue emphasizes that beauty can be deceptive, not the whole story of a person or a thing. Then we see the use of apostrophe, where the speaker directly addresses beauty itself. This heightens emotional impact, making the poem feel more urgent and personal. When the speaker says, "Ah, bittersweet, thou fairest as fruit," it's like confronting beauty as a traitor, shifting blame from ourselves to the object of our admiration. Overall, these devices help us understand how beauty is portrayed as powerful, misleading, and emotionally charged. Central themes that tie into the larger idea of how beauty influences human experience. Let's talk about how hyperbole and contrast work together to really emphasize the difference between appearance and reality. When we use exaggerated labels like calling something enemy or poison, it creates a sense of urgency and drama. These hyperbolic terms grab our attention and make us think there's more at stake than what we see on the surface. At the same time, contrast plays a crucial role. For example, we might be shown a promised treasure, which suggests great value, but then we're presented with the reality, something worthless. This stark difference forces us to question surface-level impressions and look deeper. The hyperbolic language signals the speaker's sense of urgency, like, "Hey, don't take things at face value." And the repeated use of contrasting ideas trains us to distrust appearances and encourages us to seek out the true worth beneath the surface. So, in the bigger picture, this technique helps us develop a more critical eye, which is essential in understanding the true value beyond what's immediately visible. So, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize some key takeaways that serve as a warning for all of us across the ages. First, what looks sweet may actually be bitter. Sometimes, things that appear attractive or tempting on the surface can hide hidden dangers or drawbacks. It's important to look beyond appearances and consider the true substance beneath. Next, what glitters may be peril. This reminds us that shiny or glamorous things aren't always safe or trustworthy. We need to be cautious about being deceived by superficial beauty or surface-level allure. And then, what blooms tonight may freeze by dawn. This is a powerful metaphor for the fleeting nature of many of life's pleasures and appearances. What seems vibrant and promising now might vanish or turn cold in a very short time. Recognizing this transience helps us stay grounded. Overall, understanding the difference between surface and substance and recognizing the fleeting nature of appearances equips us to value what truly matters, substance over surface. It also helps us guide the younger generation, offering wise counsel, and encourages us to ground our identity in enduring virtues rather than fading surfaces or fleeting trends. This awareness is essential for living with wisdom and integrity in a constantly changing world. Thank you all for your time and attention today. I truly appreciate your engagement throughout this presentation. Remember, the key points we've discussed highlight the importance of understanding the core concepts and applying them effectively. I hope this session has given you valuable insights that you can take back and implement in your own work. Again, thank you so much for being part of this. I look forward to seeing how you'll use this knowledge moving forward.